Seabird Chapters 2, 3, and 4. Chapter 2, Vision in the Snow. The summer snowstorm not only blotted out the coast, it shut out sun, land, and sea. Caught in a tidal current, a whaling ship ran in this white haze like a blind thing being pushed. The keen-eyed lad high in the crow's nest was a worried lookout. He was 14, a year out of New Bedford. For this whaling voyage he signed on as a ship's boy, and now they trusted his searching eyes at the masthead. But how could anyone be expected to see dangerous rocks through the snow? He stamped his cold feet in the flimsy canvas barrel. Below him the mast melted into white nothing. Spars with furled sails made scarecrow arms. His lookout barrel seemed to float upward in a falling sky. To Ezra Brown the world was all unreal. A shadow passed him, gone before he really saw it. It came again and was gone. Then it hovered beyond arm's reach. A white bird soared motionless in the falling snow, looking at him. It gave no cry. It, too, was unreal to Ezra, as though the silent flakes had formed a snowy vision. The boy gazed without blinking. He had never seen anything so coldly beautiful, so much a part of snow and fog and the mystery of it. Without warning, the white bird wheeled, swept forward, and shot upward. It was gone, thought Ezra. Why did it go so fast? As a dream, he remembered a playful swallow back in Maine. It liked to fly towards a steep-born wall, then swoop upward, missing a crash by inches. And now the seabird, this ivory gull out of the Arctic, did the same thing. 1 minute it hung in the snow, and the next it swung up and out, like climbing a cliff. The memory snapped Ezra out of the trance as though struck by a harpoon. Even before he felt the blast of colder air on his face, he knew. He found his voice and bellowed into the white haze, "Iceberg! Iceberg! Dead ahead!" Chapter 3, Smart Traders. A head-on collision with an iceberg had sunk many a vessel, but at Ezra's wild yell, the ship swerved away in time. It scraped the ice with a shudder that nearly shook the boy from his nest. Then the whaler went on unharmed. The snowstorm passed swiftly. It seemed to Ezra that the ivory gull had swept it away, as though the snow spirit, wrapped in a mystic veil, had vanished with it across the ice-flecked sea. When he climbed down to the deck, his tale of a bird that saved the ship was twisted into different meanings by the crew. One, for instance, was afraid. As he groaned, 'twas a pale white ghost you saw. Some lost frozen whaleman's soul come out of the north a flappin' and haunt the ship. He's sea crazy, laughed a harpooner. 'Twas a good spirit, as if it was a spirit. 'Twill bring us plenty whale oil this cruise. Ezra knew that his seabird was neither a ghost nor a bad omen. He had seen many ivory gulls in Arctic waters, yet this one, by flying off so oddly, had called his attention to the floating island of ice. The seabird might have remained with Ezra as only a memory, hovered in a halo of shining light. But one day, while they were passing a rocky headland, an Eskimo sealskin kayak pulled out and raced to the ship with a double paddle flashing. This chuckling Eskimo knew how to trade with whalemen. Yes, indeed. He clambered up the deck, hoisting a bale of furs behind him. Oh, what a smart trader he was. He grinned just right, he frowned just right, and he paddled away with a fortune. For a mere kayak load of fox and polar bear skins, the childless whaleman had given his genuine cotton cloth a roll of it and 10 real iron fish hooks. Ah, and solid glass beads, too, hard to dent with your teeth, yet with holes clear through them. And most priceless bargain of all, for 2 whale tusks, a boy had given him a little pump drill of iron. With this magical thing, you can make holes in woods or bone or ivory, rows and rows of holes. As for Ezra, those tusks and the ivory gull shaped his life. Chapter 4, The Ivory Bird Soars. Ezra was a master of scrimshaw work, the carving of bone and teeth. His shipmates had long since guessed why he wanted the 2 walrus tusks. As he studied their curves, one heard him say to himself, "But I need other things out of the sea besides this ivory. some red coral maybe, something yellowish colored, and a black. After that, the whalemen opened their sea chest, giving Ezra his pick of shells, stones, and souvenirs from all over the world. And word went around he's making a good luck model of his Seabird that saved the ship. On watch at the swaying masthead, Ezra planned his carving. In the evenings, he sat on his bunk under a whale oil lamp with his chest for a workbench. He sawed and rasped to the wind's song and the drumming of waves. In making this Seabird, Ezra joined both tusks together, forming a cross. Where they joined, he gouged out enough ivory to leave the bird hollow and light. One tusk made the body, the head, and the fan-like tail. An amber beak was locked in place by a coral plug, the coral ends gleaming as eyes. A wedge of black slate made the folded feet. The other tusk curve helped shape the soaring wings. Seabird's body was set on a limber stalk of whalebone. With the stalk's loose end in a belt loop, Seabird nodded over his arm when Ezra walked. Spread out flat on his chest under his jacket, it left both hands free for climbing. A hole in a timber or a lashing around a post made a base for the stalk. Then Seabird could follow the ship's roll tilt to the side and soar. The small model in all its part had come from the world's oceans, making an image of the gull as Ezra had seen it. But the odd thing was this: the ivory gull of flesh and feathers had seemed fashioned from falling snow, while the seabird, carved from ivory, seemed always alive. Seabird, Chapter 2, 3, and 4.